The importance of the crank sensor and what to do when your vehicle won't start. The crank sensor, also known as the crankshaft position sensor, is an essential component in a modern vehicle's engine management system. It measures the rotational speed and position of the crankshaft, which helps the engine control unit, ECU, to determine when to ignite the spark plugs and inject fuel into the engine cylinders. If the crank sensor fails or malfunctions, the engine may not start, or it may run poorly. In this situation, the ECU may not receive the correct signals from the sensor, which could cause the engine to misfire, stall or not start at all. If your vehicle won't start, it could be due to a faulty crank sensor. Other symptoms of a failing crank sensor may include engine misfires or stalls. A bad crank sensor may cause the engine to misfire or stall while driving. This is because the ECU may not be receiving the correct signals from the sensor, which could affect the timing of the ignition and fuel injection. Poor acceleration. If the crank sensor is not working correctly, the engine may not accelerate smoothly, and you may experience jerky movements while driving. Check engine light. A faulty crank sensor may trigger the check engine light to illuminate on the dashboard. If you suspect that your vehicle's crank sensor is faulty, it's essential to have it inspected by a qualified mechanic. They can perform diagnostic tests to determine the exact cause of the problem and recommend the appropriate repairs. Replacing a crank sensor is generally not a difficult task for a trained mechanic. However, it's important to ensure that the new sensor is correctly installed and aligned with the crankshaft. Otherwise, the engine may not start, or it may run poorly. In summary, the crank sensor is a critical component in a vehicle's engine management system. If your vehicle won't start, or you experience any of the symptoms mentioned above, it could be due to a faulty crank sensor. Be sure to have it inspected by a qualified mechanic and replaced if necessary to ensure the proper functioning of your vehicle. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content.